What's up guys, it's Andrew at Motorcycles Off-Road, and I want to show you some mods that have been done to this newly purchased by me DR650. What year is it? Well, it doesn't matter I guess, because these bikes are mostly all the same. Now, the reason why I was looking for one of these motorcycles is I watch a lot of Australian YouTubers and they love this motorcycle, and they seem to be riding in a lot of the same aggressive terrain that I am in various different locations. And by that I mean I ride all different. I ride rocks, mountainous terrain, I ride sand a lot. So for me to have a versatile motorcycle like this to test out and to try for the channel is a huge plus. I drove 2 hours north to pick this motorcycle up. It was a trade-in at a dealership, and I've still yet to find the original owner. I wish I did, because there's a lot of little things done to this motorcycle that I would like to ask him about. Because somebody definitely took care of this bike. They didn't take it off-road, that I can tell, because the skid plate is clean, the swing arm is clean, no scratches, and I really wanted to see, what all they have done. They put a lot of love and care into this motorcycle. So firstly, let me talk about what I've already done to it in the 2 weeks in which I've owned it. I replaced the cush hub bearing, the two rear wheel bearings, the tires. Before it had a very road-orientated tire. I can show you in a picture. I put rim locks front and rear. Now some people are going to be like, well, you don't need a rim lock in the front. And I hear you. But I ride a lot of sand. And riding a lot of sand, we like to air down nice and low so you can float on top of the sand without digging in. And doing this, you go from sand to roots to rocks all on the same day. You could get a pinch flat. So the answer is heavy duty tubes, rim locks, and you can run this guy, like 12 PSI, 14 PSI. And that makes it a lot better than your standard 20-25 that you're going to run on harder terrain like road. But that's just my personal preference. And this bike also has an aftermarket exhaust. I don't know which exhaust this is. I'm guessing this is the GSX-R exhaust that a lot of people do. They put on here because it lessens the weight, and it also sounds really good. I'll run it for you later so you can hear exactly how it sounds. We have the Sergeant seat, which this seat, I can't complain. It's super comfortable. The one problem I have with it is it's slippery. It's great for road, but as I've been driving a little bit of off-road, I see I'm sliding around on it a lot. So I have to get some sort of cover or some sort of grip. I'll keep the seat the way it is. I just need it to plant me in place. Also, something really awesome. We got LED front headlight. It looks amazing. Let me turn it on for you so you can see. That's a great looking light. We have LED blinkers, front and rear, or as some people call them, turn indicators. Around here we call them blinkers. Also, there's a tail tidy kit that was a delete of the rear light, and they put it in the bottom here. I think that's kind of cool, because I noticed when I was looking at other bikes, they have this big gaudy light here, and this guy completely replaced it, which I can get one of those tool tubes, and maybe I can put a bag here to hold maybe tubes and tire changing tools, stuff like that. I think that's awesome. Oh yeah, let me give you a closer look of the tires I put on. I'm trying for the first time these K60 Rangers, and this is probably the most off-road that this bike's seen. But these tires so far at full road PSI seem pretty good. And then I'm going with the tried and true MT21 up front. As I said, I ride mostly 50-50, so this is a good selection for me. We also have a Ricochet skid plate. Nice aluminum heavy-duty skid plate. Okay, so you may have noticed there's these little lights here. I don't even know how to turn them on, but I'm going to have to take them all off the bike. It's like underglow. It's everywhere. It's on the skid plate. It's on the swing arm. It's just all over this motorcycle. It's probably cool if you're going to like bike night and stuff like that at your local bar. But me, like this right here, this is going to get caught on branches. It's going to rip that stuff out anyway. So instead of taking a chance of getting a short, and like I said, I don't even know how to turn them on. So taking a chance of getting a short, I'll just take it all off. That's not really something I'm into. We also have the Supermoto front fender. I'm going to see if I like this or not. It's a little small. I mean, I definitely don't like the standard, the giant floppy one, but maybe an Enduro fender might be better. I don't know. We'll see if it kicks mud and rocks up in my eyes. We got our heated grips. Oh, also I put on this mirror. It had the big goofy stock ones. I think they're terrible, and when they hit branches, they spin around and do all kinds of funny stuff. So I buy these ram mounts separate. This guy here costs like 15 bucks, and then you buy a separate mirror, and then you can build it yourself. You don't really need to buy the double take kit. So over here I'll attach like usually a camera. I have my one mirror that gives me legal compliance as well as safety, and that's it for that. So the Trailtech Vapor is installed, and that is awesome. That's really awesome that he took the time to install this. We have a tachometer, we have our speedometer. The tachometer is set. I see it down here. Temperature gauge here. So everything works with that guy as far as I can tell. So that's awesome. And taking off the stock speedo can save you a little weight from what I understand. All the weight saving things you could do on this motorcycle, you could shave off like 20-25 pounds by little odds and ends, and that's one of the things that they recommend. Also, you can see that the speedo was plugged, so that's cool. I don't have to worry about crap getting in there and gumming up my bearings. Those bearings I did not replace. I replaced the rear, and as you can see I have a little bit extra grease that I should clean up. I did a sloppy job down there, I guess, while pressing the pin in, squeeze some of it out, and that's what happened there. Okay, so one thing I really would like to know is what's going on with this carburetor. Now something has to be done to it, right? Because we have this exhaust. I haven't taken the seat off yet to check the air box to see if there's any holes in it or modifications, but the carburetor has a little sticker on it, and you see that fuel air screw? That is not stuck. So something was done to it. I don't know what, but it runs a little bit lean in my opinion. I hear it popping and banging a little bit on the decel, so I think it's running lean. Although this bike might just do that anyway, but I don't know. I'm gonna check into it. I'm curious to pop that out, seeing if any holes were drilled in the slides, see what the spring length is, all that stuff, and see what the main jet is. Maybe I can tweak it a little bit. I'm running at sea level, so I might be able to get a bit more performance out of this bike just by changing the needle valve and you know, messing with the main jet. I also don't know if they have the stock little filter in here. I gotta pop that off and look. That thing is known for clogging up, so I'm gonna put an inline filter. Yeah, look at this underglow, it's everywhere. It's a little light kit. I also want to open this guy up. I'm going to cut the center out of it, and then I'm going to see if there is the retaining bracket, or how should we say, plate, so the countershaft doesn't leak, because I guess the older models do not have that. They started replacing it later, so I'm going to put that on. I don't know if the neutral was done for the neutral safety switch, which tends to back out and grenade your your whole gearbox. Although I haven't seen any issues with it. It might be something that happens. I don't know if I ever have to replace a clutch or take the cases apart. I'll take a look in there and see what we got. Would be on clutch side over here. Oh yeah, I failed to mention a nice little rack. I like this rack. Now when I bought this, it had a big like hard case on it, which I don't like those at all. If anything, I run soft cases, like a soft bag. So I had a bracket here. I took the case off for the test drive and actually accidentally left it at the dealership. So I took the bracket off last night. All right, so let's take a listen, hear how she sounds. This is going to be awkward because I got to hold the clutch at the same time. So hold tight, guys. You hear that little pop there, and it might just be that the bike does that, but it's more predominant when you're in gear and you're decel. So I want to see what that's all about. Also, this is interesting. It's a nice little bent aluminum or whatever this is bracket, steel bracket. Feels steel, I don't know, I don't have a magnet, but that's kind of cool. It's good, I like it. Innovation, right? It's an old bike, it's cool to do stuff like that to it. And these are your heated grips. So that's cool. I like how they're wired to the key. This way you don't accidentally leave them on and then end up with an issue of killing your battery. So all of you guys, I'm sure, know somebody or know someone that used to have one of these motorcycles, what is the go-to upgrades to do? What should I do to make this motorcycle mine? As you can see, this guy took a lot of time, and I also want to do the same. I want to take care of it in my own way though, because I'm more of an off-road rider. He was more of a road rider, obviously. So I'm probably going to beat on this bike a little more than he did, but at the same time, that doesn't mean I'm going to abuse it. And I also want to make it unique to me. One thing I'm already planning out is my buddy Kevin and I, we're going to take off this head pipe here, and we're going to weld around the outside there. I'm going to grind out the inner weld and polish it, because from what I understand, that is a bottleneck in which the exhaust flows. So just changing that alone can increase your airflow. So that's something I'm going to do along with the carburetor. So I think that'll help. Also, at some point, I feel like the valves were done semi-recently because your cam chain tensioner was resealed. And we have new gasket up here. So, and there's no actual gasket for this. I looked. It's actually like a Permatex. So every time you do it, you got to re-Permatex it. So I think the valves were probably done, and I don't think that's an issue. If it comes into play, then yeah, I'll adjust the valves, but I don't think it's a real issue at this point. See, this kind of looks like a new gasket too. So that neutral safety switch may have been done. Man, I wish I could get a hold of the original owner so I could ask him all these questions, you know, instead of just going into this blind. It's almost worse to have a motorcycle that has been worked on because you don't know what has been done. Versus if I bought this brand new, I would have a checklist of exactly what to do. Now, I guess the worst case scenario, I can open it up and start looking. But if I do that, then I'm down for a couple days if I need the parts, because I'm not going to bolt it back together, wait for the parts to come in the mail. And I just want to ride this thing. Well, I also need to get a new cotter pin for the rear. Replace that one. That one's a little bugged up, but it's been around. It's doing its job. All it does is hold this castle nut in place. But, yeah. Should probably put a new one on there. So, what mysteries does this bike hold for me? Not sure. But I'm excited to move forward. I want to ride this bike in multiple different terrains, make a review of it, maybe compare it to some other motorcycles that are similar. Honestly, I can't wait to get some more seat time on it and really analyze in my head how this differs from the Tenere 700. Because having the Tenere 700 for 2 years and riding that bike around, I know a lot about it. Put 3,000 miles on it, probably 50% off-road through the Pine Barrens, all kinds of places. So I'm curious to see how this holds up. I mean, the horsepower numbers are nowhere close, but the torque numbers are. And this bike is also 100 pounds lighter. And that's before you start doing crazy stuff like, you know, taking out the battery, taking off the exhaust. And by taking out the battery, I mean going to lithium. You'll save 5 pounds right there. I'm probably going to replace these bars. I don't like stock bars. They're steel. They fold up like cheese. They're not great. Full wrap handguards probably is what I'll go with. These bar ends, I don't particularly like them. They'll just fall right off as soon as you drop the bike. But yeah, awesome. Awesome clean bike. Overall, I'm excited. I feel like I got a good deal on it. I feel like the person that traded it in probably got gouged on it, and he probably felt really bad for whatever they gave him for it. Based on what I paid for it, I know that they didn't give him what this bike is actually worth, and definitely not what this bike would have sold for on Marketplace. So, oh, one other thing to mention, another problem with this bike before I go into closing, is they always mention about this roller up here. If you hit a bump too hard, you can blow this open and crack a hole in your frame. Well, it's already been replaced. So that's another thing. So if you guys know anything else I should look at, because I tried to do some research, you know, on forums, watching videos. If there's anything else, let me know. But so far, awesome, awesome bike. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Look forward to more content with this, the 300 Rally, my KDX 200, multiple bikes on the channel. And I'll catch you in the next one. I'm Andrew, and this is Motorcycles Off-Road. Thanks for watching, guys.
When you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, go.